Funny with the
Hi, everyone. This is Miranda with the Valuable Voices podcast. I have my friend Kim. I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember when we first met. We had just moved here and our boys were in class together. And I remember having her little son over for a play date. And I'll never forget, he made like this little bracelet for her. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And you could just tell from the beginning, like, he's just a sweet boy. And then I met Kim and she just has a heart of gold, and I've gotten to know her, and we've traveled and we've built business together. I just adore her. She's a chiropractor. She's super knowledgeable about all natural, and she's just got so much in her. I cannot wait for you guys to hear her story. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
I was just saying, I
Uh,
love those flowers behind you. In Chicago, we don't have flowers yet, so I'm excited to see those.
oh, those are my favorite sunflowers. They are just to
Yeah,
me the happiest flower on earth.
so pretty. Yeah, it just brightens your day for sure.
Yeah.
I know we were talking just a little bit before this, but again, whatever you feel like sharing, but I'd love to kind of hear, your background, how you grew up, and then what made you decide to go to chiropractic school and all of that.
Sure. So grew up in Long Island, New York, in your typical dysfunctional, volatile house, right? Who doesn't have that these days? No, I shouldn't say that. Um, Still adore my parents. Unfortunately, my dad passed away at a very young age. The thing that they only did well together was ballroom dance. What's interesting is both of my parents were very inactive, and both of them smoked about 3 packs of cigarettes a day. Dad was an alcoholic, bipolar. Mom was never home. And I think being a middle child, I just kind of learned how to fend for myself. My older sister was very, very much into sports. And so my dad absolutely loved basketball and baseball and all of that. And those are the sports that my sister played. So she caught a lot of attention from him. And being my younger brother was my dad's only son, he caught a lot of attention. So it was all good. I know my parents loved me in the best way that they could. And my dad, although he had his crutches, he lived for us. He adored us. And so I think I caught a lot of um, both of their personalities. How could you not, right? When you're
Yeah.
growing up. He was very outgoing. Everybody knew him. Everywhere he went, he'd strike up conversations with people. And I saw that that was something that I have always done, and saw how it drives my kids crazy as well. My mom, I can be very thankful to her because although she was never around, she did a huge favor for me, a huge blessing in my life. I had a car accident when I think I was about 15 or 16. And at the time, she was working at a real estate office. And so the woman she worked with, her husband was a chiropractor just down the street. So thankfully, my mom had, the decent sense to bring me to a chiropractor after having a car accident. And like I said, forever grateful to her for that, because this man became my mentor. And really, I truly believe his love and belief in me is what helped shape and mold me into the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
Um, and he was just a huge part of my life. When I struggled in some classes, he'd get me a tutor. I would work at his place 3 days a week from 10 in the morning till 8 at night. He taught me how to do the x-rays, how to develop them, how to do all the insurance. He even taught me how to adjust him. So I kind of had the upper hand when I was going to chiropractic school, where I had all that knowledge and information, which to me was a huge blessing because I had a lot of concussions growing up. So I really struggled in school and had a really hard time with memory. And to this day, I still do. Which makes it interesting because my middle guy seems to be following the same path as me. So I went to chiropractic college completely on my own. In fact, when I told my mom I wanted to be a chiropractor, she said, "What do you need to do that for?" I did fine on my own without any college. And so I was old enough to have a credit card, and I bought my ticket to Chicago to see the National College of Chiropractic. That's what it was called at the time. I flew out there, landed, went to go rent my car, only to discover that they would not rent it to me because you had to be 25 or 21.
Right.
But anyhow, I was just 20. So the way that the school handled my situation, they won me over. But oddly enough, my hope in my mind, I was thinking I was going to go to Palmer, which is in Davenport, Iowa. In Davenport, anyway, Iowa. And so I didn't even look at any other chiropractic colleges. Went home, finished getting whatever I needed to get accepted into it. Got accepted, and my brother, my sister, and I put a trailer. It was my brother's truck, a U-Haul trailer, and off I went. My parents had no clue where I was going to school or anything. Did it completely on my own. Came back with the U-Haul, and then I think I drove back completely by myself. But anyhow, it was an amazing experience and hard as all heck, because I worked the entire time that I was going to school to put myself through school. And it was just a glorious experience. I just adored my teachers. I adored the friends that I made. In fact, I'm still in communication with a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it just really helped me feel like I can make an impact in the world just simply with the knowledge that I have and just helping people with my hands.
Wow.
So I always kind of was unique and different growing up. My girlfriends would make fun of me because I would use a rock for deodorant, or I'd be very particular about like lotions and scents and things like that. And it's bizarre though, Miranda, because like I was saying earlier, my parents I don't think they ever exercised a day in their life other than when they ballroom dance. They smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day. So I don't know where I got that from, because Dr. Craig didn't either.
It's amazing. And that's what I totally want to know. It's like, did that pain of growing up or seeing how your parents ended up or whatever push you to do the opposite? Or did you always have that in you, that was just like all natural and just wanted the best for yourself? And first of all, like, I just want to like stand up and give you a round of applause. Like, that's just amazing. I can't imagine leaving that environment and just going to school by yourself and just like, nope, this is what I want to do. Talk about being determined. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Like I said, it was all a difficult situation, but by getting through it, it just helped me become a stronger, more independent woman.
Yeah.
And more unfortunate things happened across the board as far as my parents got divorced. My dad went into a major state of depression. I was getting these hate letters from my mom. My dad was calling me from the hospital because my mom had him committed, and it was just craziness. But because of the love and support that I got, even from this one particular family, the Driscolls, they kind of adopted me as their daughter, and he just a very, very dear soul, and got very, very close with his wife. And in fact, they had 2 little daughters, so I got to babysit them all the time. And when they would go away, I would house sit them. So I really think that it's just the love of the friends that I made along the way is what helped me to get through it.
Yeah.
And of course, my dad and mom were very proud when I did get, my degree.
Right.
I felt like I disappointed Dr. Craig because I never did make it back to Long Island. I just fell in love with Chicago and was very fortunate. I got a job pretty much right out of school. I was working as an associate on Michigan Avenue, downtown Chicago. And it was a very high volume clinic. But we really focused on body pH and gut health and women's health issues. And so it just amazes me because this is all God's doing.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get that from my parents, obviously. So I really, when you ask that, I think I was just wired that way. I think that's just how God knitted me together.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was just fortunate enough to be able to pursue it and accomplish it, and then just be successful and helping others, and met my husband, and we moved to California. Then we moved back to Chicago. Then we bought a place in Texas, and then we didn't go. And then we built a house in North Carolina, and we didn't do that either.
Wow.
It was like, you're just basically from coast to coast. And so it made it very challenging for me to have that dream that I had and turn it into fruition. I was able to for a while up in Lake Arrowhead. When the boys were 4 and 2 or 3 and 1, I opened up a small practice and rented space on the top of a building. I think it was I don't know if they call it, no, they didn't call it the YMCA. It was like the local park community. And I loved it. I loved it because even though in my mind, I always thought like I'd have what Dr. Craig had was a practice out of my home so that I could be a full-time mom and a full-time chiropractor, just like he was, out of his house and there for he had 6 kids. So he was there for them all the time. And it just was something I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I can be a chiropractor and be at home, because that was something that was always extremely important for me, because my mom was never home.
Right.
So I didn't want to repeat that mistake. And I can't say it was a mistake. It was what she had to do for her. That was what was right for her to do.
Right.
She loved me in the best way that she could. But for me, I didn't want that for my children. I wanted to be a huge part of their lives. I wanted to be the one taking them to their, practices and helping them with their homework, and just getting them off on the right foot. And so I've been very blessed where my husband's jobs, and that's why we've gone back and forth from California to Chicago, here, there, and everywhere, is because I was blessed to be able to stay at home with them. And even though I did open up part-time practices everywhere we lived, it gave me enough of fulfillment, because I was fulfilled homeschooling my children and being there for them full time. But now that I'm older, it's like, it's hard, because now we just moved to Arizona, and it's like fell right into, getting established here in Arizona. And then we went into COVID. So I never went forward and got my Arizona chiropractic license. And now I'm like, do I do it? Do I go through all the hassles and the finances to do that? Right. But I am blessed because, as I was stating, as a chiropractor, I had the good fortune of working with Jeffrey Bland, who, in my opinion, is the pioneer of the importance of gut health and leaky gut and all these things that are just on the radar everywhere these days. And the importance of gut health and how it relates to your immune system and how it's your second brain. So to have found a company that is, in my opinion, complete alignment with what I did as a chiropractor with nutrition, I do feel like I'll always be a chiropractor. I just may not be practicing at the moment. But I'm also still able to transform the lives of people and help them with their health issues, which is rewarding. It's just in a different capacity. But I have the time freedom and the flexibility to do it. And I'm helping people back in Long Island that I went to high school with, and I'm helping people that I knew in California and Chicago, and people that I'm meeting on Facebook that I don't even know. So, helping people that live in Texas, here, there, and everywhere. And so, although chiropractor is a huge part of who I am, and it blessed me with the knowledge that I need, I feel that being a professional network marketer with a company that I simply adore and believe in, and the culture and the people that I get to work with, and just the impact of the lives that I've had on people, just is so rewarding.
Well, and you have such a huge heart. I mean, I've seen you bend over backwards to help people, what you do for your kids. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know you got 3 busy boys, and I've seen you at home with them and homeschooling and cooking them breakfast and taking them places and doctor's appointments. I mean, your heart, it's so interesting, again, how your past may have shaped you into the mom you are today. I mean, you're amazing, and your boys know it. And your boys are respectful and kind and handsome. Like, you guys don't mess around. And I've been inspired by you, you know? I mean, I go to you for advice. I'm like, I need help, you know? I mean, we don't always feel like we're doing the right thing. So it's like, you've been a blessing. And again, your heart to help people. I mean, you truly care. I love it because you're just a straight shooter. You're going to tell them how it is. Like, if someone's drinking a Diet Coke, you're going to tell them not to, because you care about them and because you know what that does to them.
I know. I think that's the New Yorker in me that I just can't get out. And so sometimes, you know, I should probably wear a filter and it should come across in, you know, maybe a more softer way. But yeah, I think that's the Italian New Yorker in
It's
me
just
that I
your
just
heart,
kind of
though.
say
I
it.
mean, and again, I know you have story after story of your boys like, Mom, shut up, when you're trying to help people and talk to people and educate people on the street, because that's just who you are. And you just have that in your heart and you have the knowledge. And it's really hard to let people do something that's kind of hurting their body or hurting their mind.
Well, I'll tell you something though, Miranda. It wasn't always that way where I would not mind my own business. Um, and it actually was from a luncheon that I was invited to from you and Tiffany. And we were sitting outside at a table and amongst a group of women. And God really convicted my heart that day, because the questions that and please, no question is stupid. But in my mindset at that time, the questions that were being asked, I was just like, are they serious? They really don't know that? And like, I really do believe that was God's way of convicting my heart that I'm not sharing my knowledge. I'm taking it for granted and just assuming that everybody knows what I know.
Totally.
And it's so sad, because it breaks my heart to think like these young kids are drinking these Red Bulls and Monster drinks, and I mean, even adults, just to get that energy when there's so many other healthier choices out there. It just, yeah. So when I see somebody drinking a Mountain Dew or a Diet Coke or this or that, and I'm just like, oh, did you know that there's flame retardant in that? And, you know, their faces are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's called brominated vegetable oil. They use it to adhere the color to the liquid so that it looks pretty, but it's a flame retardant. Like, people just don't know what they don't know. And so, yeah, it has been on my heart. And like I said, God convicted me to start sharing my knowledge. And this company that I'm, you know, affiliated with helps me to do that in a way where I can give them, you can't just tell somebody, stop doing that, it's not good for you. You need to give them something to do in place of it, because it's a habit that they have formed.
Yep.
So,
and most of the time, as a busy mom, I want to do what's best for my kids, but sometimes I don't have the time, the energy, and I just didn't have the knowledge, right? So I'm learning as I go too. So what a gift you are to be able to say to somebody, I can help you with that. You know, I have tools for you. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because you are just, again, a huge blessing, and you have gift, and people trust you, and they trust your heart because it just shows. So I'm thankful for you and your friendship, and can't wait to see what else happens. I miss you because you're not down the street anymore, but
you got to come and visit.
I
truly appreciate you, and you're an inspiration to me. And so I'm grateful and so thankful for our friendship.
Thank you. I love you. I'm so glad you got on here. I know I've been begging you for a while because I just love your story and everything, who you are. And you've just been a huge inspiration. And again, just watching you grow. I mean, you are so committed to like being the best version of you and changing your mindset, and just, it's just awesome. So you're changing lives, girl.
Thank you.
It's a
never ending process.
Right? We've never arrived. There's always growth.
Exactly. Well, thank you for thinking of me. And I'm very honored that you felt that I had a story to share. So thank you for.
You're inspiring. I know there's women, anybody listening, just like, oh, wow. I mean, again, taking what you came from. I mean, we have a choice and we get to decide what we do with our life. And I mean, you probably didn't even share half of it, but I'm sure you had a choice. You could have stayed in that town and stayed doing, and ended up like that, right? I mean, you just
Yeah.
took it and you ran with it. And again, you are
I just
inspiring.
remember there was a story, and I can't remember where I got it from or where I learned it from, but you figure there's families, right? And all the children are growing up in the same family with the same situations going on. And the story goes where one of the sons said, well, yeah, I drink. Of course I'm an
Right.
alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. And
Yeah.
then the other son is like, yeah, my dad was an alcoholic. And so I choose not to. I choose
Right.
not to drink, and I choose not to use that as a crutch and an
So
excuse.
true.
And so that's the only thing I can say is that it's really just about choices.
Yeah.
And you can use the mistakes that others have made and mistakes that you yourself have made and learn and grow from them, or you can choose to repeat them
Yeah.
and carry on the
Yeah.
problems that you should be learning from. But it's all about a choice. And that's kind of what my thing has been, is Dr. Kim
Yeah.
lifestyle by choice, because life is all about choices.
Yes. And like you said, God probably put this in your heart to go to chiropractic school and go do this. I feel like he just leads us if we'll listen and follow our
Mm-hmm.
intuition. So, all
Exactly.
right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
you. You guys,
you.
if you know anybody else, again, I just believe everybody's voice is valuable. I know you'll be inspired by listening to this. So feel free to send people my way. I love hearing people's story and sharing that with the world. So have a blessed day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
God bless. Bye-bye.